Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Vikram. In this class, we'll try to understand one, non and p persistence methods in CSMA. The concepts, the basic understanding of CSMA has already been covered in our previous video. If you haven't watched those videos, please watch those videos and come back here. And every video in our channel is going to be a part of entire course or a playlist. Our suggestion is to follow the entire course so that you can have better understanding of the concepts. And the link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Now coming to this class, we'll try to understand all these persistence methods. Before that, what is this persistence methods means? Persistence methods decide what should a channel do if the channel is busy or idle. Whenever the channel is busy in CSMA, in carrier sense multiple access, whenever the channel is busy or whenever the channel is idle, what it has to do, those concepts, what it has to do has been is decided by these methods. We have three methods. One is one persistent, non-persistent and p persistent. So what this one persistent states is, with a probability of 1, it is going to transmit the data. So what it means is, it will continuously check for the it will continuously sense the channel, and whenever the channel is idle. So see here. So what's happening in the diagram is, whenever the channel sense it is an idle, it will transmit the data with a probability of 1 without considering what's happening, whether any other station is transmitting or not. So it is going to continuously check for the channel, and with 100% probability, whenever it finds that the channel is idle, it will just transmit the data. So this is what we call it as one persistence. One here stands for with a probability of 1. It is going to transmit. So what happens with this kind of one persistent method in CSMA is, with this we are going to have a lot of collisions. The collisions are going to be very high. So obviously it is going to be very high. Why it is going to be very high means, so whenever it is going to transmit the data with a probability 1, which means that it is going to consider that there is no other channel in transmission. It will simply transmit. With that, the collisions are going to be very high with one persistent CSMA persistent method. The other kind of persistent method is non-persistent method. So what this non-persistent method is, whenever the channel has the data to send, it will sense the channel. So whenever it senses the channel, if it identifies that the channel is busy, see here, at this point of time the station has some data to transmit. So as and when the station has some data to transmit, it will sense the channel. At that particular point of time, whenever it senses the channel, if the channel is busy, what the station will do is, it will wait for a specific period of time. It will wait for a specific random amount of time. After that, again it is going to sense, and if it finds that it is busy, it will wait for a specific amount of time, a random amount of time, and after that it is again going to sense the channel. If it finds that the channel is idle, if it finds that the channel is idle, then it is going to transmit. So this is what we call it as non-persistent method in CSMA. So what happens with this kind of transmission? So is there any possibility of collisions? The possibility of collisions is very, very less, because each station is going to wait for a random amount of time. So as they are going to wait for a random amount of time, the possibility of the collision will decrease a lot. But what happens with this kind of technique is, the efficiency of channel utilization will reduce. What it means? For example, if the channel A has sensed busy, B also senses that the channel is busy, C also senses that the channel is busy. So it is going to wait a random amount of time, for example 4 milliseconds, 6 milliseconds, 8 milliseconds. So but after 2 milliseconds the channel is going to be idle. the channel is going to be idle, and until for the next 2 milliseconds the channel will remain idle, because if these are the channels that we have on the multiple axis and willing to transmit the data, so after assume that the transmission time is 2 milliseconds, so they have sensed, so for example, if some channel D is transmitting and they have sensed that all these channels have sensed that there is some data and the channel is busy, so it is going to wait for random amount of time of 4 milliseconds, 6 milliseconds and 8 milliseconds, and the transmission time is 2 milliseconds. So after 2 milliseconds what happens is, so the channel remains idle, even though it can transmit the data, the channel can transmit the data, but all these stations are waiting for their back off time to complete. With that, what happens? The channel efficiency reduces. Even though there may not be any collisions, the collision rate may decrease, but the channel efficiency, the utilization of the channel will reduce. That is the disadvantage with p-persistence method in CSMA. The next technique is, this is one of the most important technique to understand. So the next technique is p-persistence. So what this p-persistence states is that the network will be provided with some probability. So it means that this is the probability, there is a probability of this number, this is the probability, with this we can transmit the data. P stands for the probability at which we can, this is the probability to transmit the data. Try to understand this point. For example, so let's try to understand this with the flow chart. It makes the things easy. So before that, we'll try to understand this. What happens, how the p-persistent will work is, the channel is going to take the advantages of one persistence and non-persistence are combined in the p-persistence. With this, we are going to get the maximum efficiency utilization of the channel and less number of collisions. So in this, we are going to get the maximum efficiency utilization of channel and less number of collisions. So how it is going to happen, that we will try to understand. So what happens in this p-persistence is, it will continuously sense the channel, same as that of one persistence. Whenever the channel is free, it is going to wait for the next time slot. So one more thing to understand is, p-persistence is applicable only if the time slots for the transmission is provided within the transmission mechanism. So within the transmission methodologies, if the time slots are there, then this one can be utilized. So what happens is, when it will continuously sense the channel, as and when the channel finds that the channel is idle, station finds that the channel is idle, it is going to wait for a time slot, and if it identifies that the channel is idle, it identifies that the channel is idle, or for example, assume that after the time slot, if the channel is busy, then what it will do is, if the channel is busy, it will wait for the back off time. Assuming that, so this back off time we have already discussed in our previous videos, where we have discussed about Aloha. So it is going to wait for the back off time, assuming that it is under the assumption that the collision has occurred. With that assumption, it is going to wait for a back off time, and after that again it will sense the channel. So after that back off time, it will again sense the channel, and if it finds that the channel is idle, it again wait for the next time slot and it will transmit. So this is how the p-persistence will work. So before that, we will try to understand this with algorithm. So how the things will work, we will try to understand it with flowchart. So this is the flowchart for p-persistence. So how the p-persistence can be obtained, that we will try to understand. So the station that would like to transmit is going to continuously sense the channel. If the channel is true, if the channel is busy and it happens to be true, it means that the channel is busy is true. So again it will continuously check. So true means it is going to continuously check. If it is false, means the channel is idle. In that case, what happens is generate a random number whose value will be between 0 and 1. So we are going to generate a random number and that number is going to be between 0 and 1. If that value R is less than or equal to P means it is the probability of the channel for transmission. With that probability it can transmit. For example, if the channel P value is let's assume that it is 0.4, take a P value, which means that with a probability of 0.4 we can transmit the data. Okay, so how that probability, with that probability we can transmit, that can be obtained is by using this random number. Try to understand this point. This point is very important to understand. So with the R value, for example, if the R generated is 0.3, which is less than the probability, it means that with that probability we can transmit. With that probability we can transmit. That transmission with that probability can be obtained by this. If R is less than P, so just transmit. If that is true, station can transmit. If that is false, it means that the value of R is greater than P. R is greater than P. For example, if you assume that it is 0.6 means it is greater than P, which is 0.4. Okay, so it means that it is not the probability for the transmission. If that is going to happen, if it is false, wait for slot time. So we have to wait for the slot time. After that, again we have to check for the channel. If it is busy, if it happens to be busy, again we are going to generate. So if it is busy means, if it is true means, we have to wait for the back of time. We have to wait for the back of time. Again we have to sense it. So if it is false, after waiting for the time slot, so try to understand this better. After waiting for the time slot, at that point we are going to again sense the channel. If the channel is busy, wait for the back of time. After that, what happens? Again we are going to sense and we are going to see that whether the channel is busy or idle. If it is idle, if it is false means not busy, it means idle. If it is idle means again generate the random number, again this process continues. So with this, what happens? With a specific probability, this is the probability at which the channel can transmit, that is going to be obtained. With this kind of method, we are going to get the maximum efficiency. So as the P value is lesser, if the P value, we are going to take it a smaller value. So let's assume that if you take the probability as 0.5, this is going to be less efficient and the collisions will be high. If the P value is 0.1, so here the collisions will be less and also the efficiency of accessing the channel will also be less. So with the P persistent value, so it is practically proven that with a P value of 0.01 we are going to get the maximum efficiency and less number of collisions. So this is practically taken and it is practically proven that with the P value is equal to, with the probability of 0.01, the collisions are very less and the efficiency to access the channel is going to be very, very high. Okay, so this is the advantage. This is how the pre-persistence will work, and these are the different methods, persistence methods, that we have in the CSMA. Hope you got the clarity on this concept. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. And if you have any doubts regarding this concept, please post your doubt in the comment section below. And if you feel that this video is helpful to you, please give us a like symbol and please share this video with your friends so that they will also get benefited. Thanks for watching.